take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball.
Who's been louder than a stadium speaker about her so-called greatness, is now facing a situation she probably didn't see coming. Guess what? Top free agents don't want to play with her, and to make matters worse, the team she's been bragging about just won a championship without her.
I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball.
That's right. She sat out. They balled out. And now she's acting like she carried them to victory from the bench.
I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball.
Let's break it all down. All right, let's talk about how Angel Reese's team won a championship without her, and why that's not surprising at all. If you've watched Angel Reese play, you already know her biggest opponent isn't the defense, it's the rim. Seriously, the number of layups she misses on a nightly basis is staggering. It's almost like she thinks the square on the backboard is just for decoration. Wide open? Miss. Fast break? Miss. Point blank range? Still a miss. She has an incredible ability to outwork everyone. To grab an offensive rebound only to throw up a shot so bad, it should count as an assist to the opposing team. At some point, you have to wonder, is the rim actually moving when she shoots, or is she just that inaccurate? And this isn't just some isolated issue, it's a pattern. How does a 6'3" forward struggle this much? Reese has a strong frame and a great ability to get into scoring positions. Yet when she goes up for a shot, it's like she forgets how basketball works. Her touch around the rim is so inconsistent that defenders don't even need to contest her. They just wait for the inevitable brick and grab the rebound. That's why she relies so heavily on putbacks, because she usually needs 2 or 3 tries before the ball finally drops in. This lack of offensive efficiency was a major reason her team actually played better once she was out of the picture. Before Reese stepped away, her team had been struggling to find rhythm. Possessions would stall because she constantly forced shots inside. Defenses would collapse on her, knowing full well that even if she got a good look, there was a 50-50 chance she'd miss it anyway. Once she was gone, the ball moved better, the offense wasn't clogged up in the paint, and players who could actually finish around the rim got more touches. Most importantly, they started winning. The team no longer had to worry about her missing 3 layups in a row or killing momentum with a forced, low-percentage shot. They simply played basketball the right way, and it worked. So when they finally won the championship, it wasn't a coincidence. They weren't celebrating Angel Reese. They were celebrating the fact that they had finally escaped the brickfest she brought to every game. And yet, she still took credit.
I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball.
Now, you'd think that after missing the entire playoffs and watching her team thrive without her, Angel Reese would show some humility. Nope. Instead, she immediately started acting like she was the reason they won. The interviews, the social media posts, it all screams, I'm a champion. We did this. We proved the haters wrong. Excuse me? We? Who is we? Because the only thing she contributed to that championship run was her absence. This is the equivalent of a group project where one person skips every meeting, does none of the work, and then shows up on presentation day saying, we really killed that, huh? That's Angel Reese right now. And what's even funnier? The actual players who earned that championship barely acknowledge her presence. They know the truth. The fans know the truth. And deep down, Angel Reese knows it too. But instead of facing reality, she's desperately trying to rewrite history, hoping everyone forgets that when her team needed a turnaround, the best thing that happened was her disappearing. If there's one thing Angel Reese has mastered, it's getting unearned praise from the media. She could miss 10 layups in a row, shoot 30% from the field, a complete defensive liability, and yet sports media still finds a way to push her as if she's some dominant force in women's basketball. Honestly, it's almost impressive how much they cover for her. They downplay her inefficiency, ignore her flaws, and hype up every minor accomplishment like she's breaking barriers. Meanwhile, actual elite players, ones who put up numbers, carry teams, and actually win games, get nowhere near the same level of coverage. They act like she's a scoring machine, when in reality, her shooting percentages are garbage, and half her points come from putbacks after missing her own shots. They frame her as a defensive presence, despite the fact that stronger, more skilled post players constantly expose her. They market her dog mentality as leadership, when, in reality, it's just empty taunts and fake confidence, something even her own teammates see through. But here's where it gets even funnier. For the longest time, she could get away with this because she was never truly tested. She played in a system where the media carried the weight of her reputation. They sold her as a winner, a game changer, a dominant force. But now, real competition is exposing her, and nothing proves that more than top free agents completely avoiding her. At this point, the best players in the league aren't dumb. They watched Angel Reese play. They know she's not a real star, just someone the media props up. And when you're a free agent looking to chase championships or build a legacy winning games, the last thing a top player wants is to be stuck on a team where the offense stalls because one player keeps forcing bad shots, where the media hype doesn't match reality, where the so-called leader is more focused on branding and headlines than actually improving her game. That's why free agents are choosing Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark actually makes her teammates better. Her game translates to winning basketball. And she isn't just a social media star, she's a real star. This is what Angel Reese doesn't understand. She thought that if she just kept riding the media wave, taunting opponents, and talking like a champion, the best players would want to join her. But the truth always comes out. And now, while Caitlin Clark attracts top-tier talent, Angel Reese is left wondering why nobody wants to play with her. Maybe it's simple. Maybe they just don't want to lose. And as if the embarrassment wasn't enough, Angel Reese is dealing with an even bigger L. Nobody wants to team up with her. The biggest free agents, the actual stars of the league, are all flocking to Caitlin Clark. And why wouldn't they? Clark has been lighting up the court, proving she's a game changer who elevates everyone around her. Meanwhile, Angel Reese? She's known more for her social media antics than for actual basketball dominance. And the league's top players see that. They don't want drama. They don't want distractions. They don't want someone who's more focused on getting Instagram likes than winning games. Priorities are clear. So when Reese's team started reaching out to top free agents to build a super team, crickets. Nobody wants to play second fiddle to someone who's more interested in being the loudest in the room than the best on the court. Angel Reese wanted to be the face of women's basketball. She thought if she got enough headlines, enough media backing, and enough viral moments, she could cement herself as the biggest star in the game. But here's the problem. She's more interested in being an influencer than a real basketball player. And that's exactly why she will always be in Caitlin Clark's shadow. Think about it. Whenever Angel Reese is in the news, is it ever about her performance? Nope. It's always about her social media presence, her brand deals, her personality. She's on TikTok, she's on Instagram, she's at fashion events, she's making headlines for everything except basketball. And when she does make basketball headlines, it's never about her skill. It's always about her taunts, her trash talk, or some fake rivalry she's trying to push. Now, compare that to Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark makes headlines for dropping 40 points in a game. Caitlin Clark makes headlines for record-breaking assists and clutch performances. Caitlin Clark makes headlines because she's actually good at basketball. Meanwhile, Angel Reese plays like someone who squeezes in basketball practice between photo shoots. Her finishing is inconsistent, her defensive effort comes and goes, and her footwork is shaky. Her basketball IQ, nowhere near Clark's level. That's why, no matter how hard she tries to sell herself as the star, she can never escape Caitlin Clark's shadow. Because when the dust settles, talent always wins. And Angel Reese is way more concerned with winning the internet than winning actual games. Reese thought she could market herself into greatness. She thought that if she got enough attention, people would forget that she's just an above-average player with a ton of media backing. But Caitlin Clark is proving that skill and impact matter more than hype. Clark's influence isn't built on branding. It's built on pure basketball dominance. And that's why, years from now, when people talk about this era of women's basketball, they'll talk about Caitlin Clark's legacy. Angel Reese? She'll be remembered as a side character in someone else's story. So what do you think? Is Angel Reese finally getting humbled? Will she ever actually back up her words with consistent elite play? Or is this just the beginning of her being frozen out of the top tier of women's basketball? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe for more brutally honest takes on the wild world of sports. See you in the next one.